What is that one trick that they really don't want you to know? If you want to cancel your hotel room last minute, but there's a cancellation fee, call and change your reservation to a few weeks later. Then call later and cancel it. Call around midday to change. Give a legitimate sounding reason. Meeting rescheduled. Misremembered the flight date, etc. This will, hopefully, ensure the agent doesn't make a note in the internal only notes field. Call back to cancel at least 8 hours later. It's unlikely the hotel has agents on 8+ hour shifts. Source: I used to work at a hotel. Stay date changes are rare, even for my hotel, which was by O'Hare, and send up red flags. You want one employee to handle the change and another employee on another shift to handle the cancel. Hotels are notoriously awful at inter-shift communication. I read a post where somebody bought a plane ticket, but then couldn't go. Of course, airlines don't let you transfer the ticket from one person to another, so they were stuck. Or were they? The airline's customer service was run out of some country that doesn't know a James from a JAMSP to a TPMOS. The guy called the airline every day to correct the spelling of the name on the ticket every day, changing one letter at a time until the ticket was now in the other person's name. I once lost the ticket I had received when parking my car at the airport. Upon leaving, I was told that without the ticket, they'd have to charge me for a full day, which was fine, since I'd been parked there for a week. Oh, I like this one, but there has to be a way for them to check this quickly, right? The ones at my local airport all use cameras and number recognition software. My ad manager tries to lie, and they showed him a time-stamped pic of the car entering the garage. The HR department at work is there to protect the company, not you. Be very wary of information disclosed to them. So true. I've only dealt with one HR person who was thoughtful and kind. Then, the company canned her. These two drugs are the exact same thing. But the allergy medicine on the left costs half as much and has twice as many doses as the sleep aid on the right. My mother insists on buying Tylenol PM instead of generic Benadryl for occasional sleeplessness. I've explained to her 1,000 times that Benadryl is cheaper and isn't loaded with a bunch of Tylenol, which she doesn't need anyway. If she insists on it, it might be working better for her because she thinks it does. Mr. Clean Magic erasers are just melamine sponges. You can buy them like 10 for $1 on eBay. Most of the dulling that occurs with cartridge razor blades is not a result of shaving, but rather water being left to evaporate on the blades. I've been using the same cartridge for the past 8 months by running the blades upwards, that is, opposite the direction you would when shaving, on a towel 15 times, after rinsing it off, then blowing on it for a few seconds. 8 months later, this blade still barely pulls at all. I have a small mason jar half filled with rubbing alcohol that I swish the blade in after I shave. That drives the water off the blades, and when I put the shaver down, the alcohol then evaporates. Didn't reach your record, but I had a blade cartridge last 5 months. Browse incognito to get past a paywall news website. Only works where you are allowed X articles per week. Incognito is the new stealing your neighbor's paper off his driveway and then throwing it in the trash. In the US, if you are ever pursued for a debt, especially if you are taken to court over it, demand that they produce documentation verifying that you owe the debt and the amount. Quite often, they won't be able to, and the case will be dismissed. Most debt collectors aren't the party you originally owed the money to, but rather companies that purchase debts in bulk for pennies on the dollar. Very often, all they have on you is your name on a spreadsheet, and they're banking on the fact that you won't contest it. You don't have to do anything. Doing nothing is always an option. Learned that from my dad. Whenever I'd say, "Dad, you have to take me to the movies or something," he'd look and say, "Only thing I have to do is stay black and die." I didn't understand it at the time. I mean, he was a pasty white computer engineer. Makes perfect sense now though. The black part doesn't make sense to me either. Stay out of debt. Anytime you order from Papa John's, use the promo code ARP25 and get 25% knocked off the subtitle. Works everywhere, every time. I usually get 50% off or more. Look up your store on pizzacodes.com. Also join Papa John reward system to get a free pizza every time you spend $100. Happens a lot faster than you'd think. And if you want codes to get sent to your email, get added to their email service. They usually have half off deals all the time, especially during sporting events. I haven't paid full price on Papa John's for years now. Happy savings. You don't actually have to pay the asking price for entry in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. They make it seem like it's the price of admission, but it's really just a suggested donation. They make more money than they need from wealthy donors. When you go to pay admission, just give them $1. Buying a car. Always do negotiating via email or phone and bounce offers back and forth against competing dealers. Will always get you the best possible deal. Another car buying tip: if you have USAA, use their car buying service. Super hassle free, and they consistently got the lower prices than anyone else, no matter how much negotiating went on. You're probably using too much laundry detergent, shampoo, and toothpaste each time you use them. If you bought something at a store and it goes on sale afterward, but the store says they do not do price adjustments, buy another one and then return it using the original receipt. Many stores have rules that prohibit employees from confronting someone they think to be a shoplifter. I've never shoplifted, but I had friends who took advantage of this. Don't do this, by the way. My friends eventually got arrested. My store does this. As a cashier, I'm not allowed to confront a shoplifter, even if I have proof. I'm only allowed to call a manager and hope that asset security is on point. What I can do is point out the item innocuously if it's in sight. 10 times out of 10 the customer will either give it to me to scan and say it slipped their mind, or say that they decided they didn't want it. When buying a car, negotiate the price of the car, not the monthly payment. People are usually more concerned with what the monthly payment will be and are often ripped off. It's easy to do the math with an interest calculator if you have a roundabout idea of what your rate will be. Bulk vinegar can replace a lot of cleaning products. Edit: I should add that you water it down. Pure white vinegar is corrosive. I highball a ratio, but there's actual recipes out there. I use vinegar to kill those pesky weeds in my yard and in between cement cracks. Safe and cheaper than those weed killers they sell in Orange Manly store place. Economy size is not always the best cost per weight volume use. You will also find some stores that print the cost per weight volume in different units for different sizes. Same size packages by weight or count may have a different number of servings, so check that as well. Not a problem in the glorious EU price per kilograms displayed by law. Pressing 0 loads of times during an automated phone robot will put you through to a human at customer services. Works for pretty much any company. It's been my experience that any automatic phone systems with voice recognition software will immediately forward you to a human agent if you swear into the phone. You can almost always get a better price for a hotel by going directly to that hotel's website. Expedia, Hotwire, etc. are kind of pointless. Also, you can't get a refund from those sites and you will get the worst room available. Expedia, Hotwire, etc. are kind of pointless. I use them to search hotels in the area and compare, then pull up the best hotels website. You are legally allowed to get a full refund for an airline ticket within 24 hours of purchase. A really cheap way to fly to places that usually cost way more to get to is to buy a cheaper ticket to some other place, possibly with a different airline, that makes a connection in the airport you want to end up in. So you get off there and just don't get back onto the flight. Some dude got in trouble for making a website that helped people find those flights. You can't check bags though, but that shouldn't be too much of an issue if you really need to be somewhere for cheap. You can consolidate and dramatically reduce your student loans for free on the government website. Don't let anyone offer to do this service for you for some ludicrous sum. Edit: federal student loans. I don't know if they don't want you to know about this, but here we go. If you're going to make a purchase with an online retailer, it's often worth putting the items in your cart, then leaving the site for a little while, because some sites will contact you with a special offer or discount code in an attempt to persuade you back into making that purchase you were going to make. Can save you a few bucks. It doesn't always work, but it's often worth attempting, especially with solely online retailers. Real estate agents who deal with rental properties get away with blue murder because they work on the assumption that you don't know what your rights are or that you'll give them up too easily. Whatever country and state you live in, if you're renting your current residence, learn your rights and stick to them like glue. The juror's right to nullify. It is our right to refuse unjust laws. So if I get selected for jury duty and don't want to go, I can just mention I know this and get sent home? No, jury nullification is voting not guilty, even if the person is absolutely proven guilty of breaking that law, because the law is unjust and should be nullified. Example, law is passed saying that all men are banned from peeing standing up. A man is charged with this crime, and you're on the jury. They have video of said man peeing while standing, in a public restroom no less. He's obviously guilty of breaking the law, but you feel that the law is unjust, and so you vote not guilty. Hopefully the majority of the jury follows suit. That's jury nullification. Grocery stores. Everything in a grocery store is pre-designed to take as much money from you as possible. The bread and milk will be in locations where you have to walk through or around the entire store to get both. The more expensive brands are at eye level. They pay for this privilege. Cereal box characters look down right at children, which connects at a psychological level to make them want more cereal. Checkout lines have candy bars at child-reaching level intentionally. New floor designs are even consulting casinos to no longer have rows and be more maze-like to keep you in the store longer. Flyers mailed to you with your name and address are tailored based on your points card buying patterns. Good smells are intentionally pumped in to make you hungry. The list goes on.